Welcome into Rounding the Bases.
Round the bases. Everybody knows Joe Goldberg. It's around the bases. Everybody knows Joe Goldberg.
Hey, everybody, welcome into another episode of Rounding the Bases presented by Community America Credit Union. Invested in you. We're going to invest in you today with a guest that you're going to learn from. I can promise you that. Well, I guess you don't have to learn, but I did. And so I want to share that with all of you, the experiences that I've had just reading the work of my next guest and a guy that I'm starting to get to know and want you to know as well. When it comes to knowing people, my friends at Chief of Staff Kansas City are the best in the business, whether you're in KC, you're in Atlanta, Georgia, like my guest, or all around the country. Chief of Staff, they take care of people. They are phenomenal if you are looking for a job, if you are looking to hire someone, if you're looking for extra resources. I'm actually about to go over there in the coming days and do an event with them, and I love to work and partner with them. So check them out, chiefofstaffkc.com, making connections that matter. My connection today came from a friend of mine and someone in my network, Susan Conrad. I say a friend of mine. I think everybody in my network is a friend. It didn't start that way. She's someone I met along the way, and as it goes with networking, sometimes it's, I've got someone I need you to meet. I've got someone I need you to meet. This one was different. She said, I have a book you have to read. And I thought, who gives me reading assignments during baseball season? So it's a book that probably I should have been able to read in 2 or 3 days. It took me 2 months only because that's my excuse. I was distracted by baseball. Anyway, I'm joined today by a renowned development strategist who built a career providing one powerful truth: that relationship building is business building. His name is Mo Bunnell, author of Give to Grow, the game-changing international bestseller about accelerating growth through generosity. He's also the founder, CEO of BIG, the Bunnell Idea Group, who has taught more than 50,000 high-end professionals how to master the art and science of business development. His dynamic approach is transforming the way things get done, because no matter the complexity of the business, when you give to grow, everybody wins. And I'm happy right now to be joined by my newer friend, Mo Bunnell. Mo, how are you?
Man, Joel, I'm so excited. And it was fun to have you on our show. And now I'm on your show. And, you know, I think everybody would agree that relationships are important to long-term success. But most people aren't taught how to develop relationships in a way that can have a big impact, in a way that can grow your own footprint, your own book of business, things like that. I know we're going to get into it today, but it'll be fun to sort of talk about how something that feels right giving can actually be done in a way to make a bigger impact in the world. It's fun stuff.
It's so much fun. And I have to tell you that when I read the book, and I don't remember my conversation in my mind, this doesn't really sound like Susan's language, but maybe in my mind, the conversation I remember having with her on a Zoom sometime this summer was, you have to read this book. It'll transform your life. At least in my mind, that's how I remember it. Or maybe that's just what the result was. It's a little funny for me to say it's transformed my life yet, because I don't know that I have reaped the benefits of it yet. It's sort of like when you're in the gym and it even feels a little painful at times, but you know that you're doing something that benefits you later. That's all of this. And I feel like it's life-changing for this reason. And then I'll pass it back over to you here for your take on this. And then I want to get into how you got here, because I don't know that I've interviewed a lot of actuaries on this podcast. I don't know what that says about actuaries, so you might be the first. But I've been selling for my speaking business for the 9 years of its existence. I think either out of desperation meaning I didn't know how to do it, so just hoping that they'll say yes. Hoping they'll say yes because of my credentials, because, hey, you know, he's a good guy. And actually, guess what? Don't tell anyone. I think the stuff's really good, but they didn't know that. And as I started reading your book, I thought, could they sense the desperation I was feeling? And none of it felt good. The only parts that felt good were the getting to know people in the relationship, but oftentimes it was telling them about me, which sounds very selfish, but you know, I have this job that is different and unique. And so it was a really easy way to build connection. Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh, you've gone here. Oh, you've done that. Oh, what's it like to do this? So it was easy and comfortable, but it never had anything to do with them and their needs. And once I read your book, I thought, oh, if I just flip this around, I could still have the same comfortable conversations and it's going to benefit them more. Have I summed up a little bit of your book?
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. And I think one of the things that our clients love and people who've read Give to Grow love, so whether it's reading the book or going through training or coaching or whatever, is there's just a mantra that threads through everything that we teach. And it's people hate to be sold to, but they love to buy. And that's such a great line. I mean, it's not one I invented. Someone else did before me. I don't know who, but people hate to be sold to, but they love to buy. So if we can switch, when we feel like we're selling or that we need the yes in this breakfast meeting, or we need the yes on this Zoom call or something like that, it will come across to others in a negative way. It might be subconscious in their mind. They might understand it explicitly. They might feel it implicitly. But when people talk about themselves, it can feel like being sold to the decision maker, to the other side. On the other side of that, we love to buy. I mean, we literally use words like retail therapy. When we buy something, we're taking away a negative, or we're creating the possibility to have some big positive. So if we can, to your point, if we can flip every conversation to be, it's about them, not us, where we're learning their priorities and their words, where we're finding ways to be helpful, maybe in ways we can be hired to do, maybe not. But in most cases, sure, it would align with us because that's what our expertise is. And if we just do that over and over and over again, people will purchase us more often from their side. And from our side, it feels great because we're giving, as opposed to feeling like we have to push something on them.
So why is that so hard for so many people? Is it just the way we were raised, the way we were trained? Hey, this is how you sell. This is how you sell. Because it seems pretty simple to say, just listen to other people and they'll let you know what they need. But it feels like we're having to reprogram or rewire our brains.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Joel. And the reason for this is mainly because almost all books or philosophies or podcast interviews or whatever out there in sales, I'm going to put air quotes around that sales word, almost everything assumes the relationship isn't important. So if you just pick a sales book, go to the Barnes and Noble or your local library or wherever, pull a book off the shelf around sales, and it will almost always have this caveman-like approach. Get in front of client, give demo, or talk about self, ask to send proposal, hopefully you get hired, and it's this linear process. If relationships are mattered at all or mentioned at all, they usually aren't. It can either be implied or explicit manipulation. Say it these ways so that they do accept. And those are that's about us. And it's not the way the world works when relationships are part of the solution. So anybody that's listening or watching out there, if relationships are important to them, to the way that people purchase, maybe multiple people are involved. Maybe you stick around after the contract is signed, like in speaking, in your business. Maybe if referrals are really important to go from, so any kind of ecosystem, which is all professional services and almost anything that has a service component to it, all those have a relationship component to it. So this standard sales stuff just doesn't work because it's not the caveman approach. It's not the try to get the deal done this month approach. That just doesn't work. It feels wrong to everybody involved. We need a different system. We'll talk about it today. We need a different system that's long-term focused, that's about them, that adds value in the very first interaction, and that puts the relationship as the paramount thing to optimize for. The sales actually below that, because I'll finish with this. One of the sayings we love is, yeah, a great deal might make your year, but one great relationship can make your entire career. So we want to optimize for that over and over again. And if so, we're going to get hired more often. It feels great. And we're going to grow exponentially because everybody out there is running around telling everybody about us.
Yeah. I mean, it makes so much sense. And, I think, like for me, Mo, I sit there and I think, boy, that feels better. I'm not a salesy kind of person. And maybe that really works for me in TV too. I mean, all I'm having to sell is not all, but really relationship and trust with the players that I'm talking to.
Yep.
To hope that they open up enough and say yes to do the interviews or to share information to keep me better informed. There's no hard sell, and I could just rinse and repeat and relationship build every single day. But then when it comes to selling a product, in my case, myself, which is an even more difficult product for a lot of people to sell. Some people are really good at it. Suddenly there's this cheat code of, wait a minute, I can do that just by building stronger relationships. Now, it's not as simple as that. But, I asked you before, why is this so hard? I recently had on the podcast, and I believe this episode's coming up very soon after yours, the author of Give to Grow, Bob Berg. And that's, or pardon me, your Give to Grow, the Go Giver.
Yeah.
The Go Giver.
Oh, what a great combo, by the way, to have Give to Grow and the Go Giver. Yeah. So great.
I'm not smart enough to say that we mapped it out this way, but really what happened, this is so cool, is I have been and was raving about your book. I'm reading the best book. I'm reading the best book. I am now a Give to Grow advocate. And I was telling a good friend of mine, and she says, hey, have you ever read The Go Giver? And I said, oh yeah, a number of years ago. And she said, I can introduce you to Bob Berg. He should be on your podcast. Great. And so he came on. That's going to be next week. These two books actually pair really well together. One is a fictional story, just a beautiful story with character driven. And I know they're based on some real people. And yours is more technical, but I would say it's such an easy read. That's just, again, my promoting just on my own Give to Grow. There's so many how-to books out there, and yours doesn't read like that. And that's why I was able to get through it easily. My only struggles were baseball season, but it's such an easy read. They're coming at it from different ends, but they're sharing the same type of philosophy of just giving, and not giving in a quid pro quo type of way, but also not just blindly giving. This isn't just a woo-woo, well, if I do this, it's all going to work out, right? There is strategy to all of this. And so I wanted you to talk about that, because there's no such thing as a get-rich-quick scheme or anything like that. There are plenty of great techniques to learn to sell and all these things. That's not what I'm talking about. But this is big picture stuff. This is every day, without fully knowing when it's going to come back, but understanding that it is going to in some way. For instance, I don't know exactly where my connection with you is going. It might just be that hopefully I offered your audience some great value and inspired them in some way, or vice versa with my audience right now. I suspect it's going to lead to some other great things. I feel that. I don't need to know what it is right now or stop because there wasn't some kind of a sale. And so I wonder how often we hold ourselves back or get in the way, because back to what I said before, we've been trained. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. That used car salesman type of model.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I'll answer two ways. One is like where our stuff might go, and the other is we can give the audience a really practical way that they can start using these techniques. So like we got connected by Susan. Felt, sort of I love baseball, and your content around resiliency and things like that fits beautifully with our content. So we do a lot of speeches too and trainings at large organizations. So like where it could lead is I could ask all the time. I'd say, I don't know, 10 or 15 times a year, hey Mo, we had you speak at our law firm's partner retreat last year, our big consulting firm's annual meeting, or our sales kickoff for the fall. And gosh, we really loved your stuff. We want another speaker this year. We're looking for somebody around resiliency. Well, now I'm going to have you in mind to basically recommend you to others. Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to try to come through our full marquee 3-day training class in February, where you're going to.
I will be there.
I know. I'm so excited. And you're going to not only like learn amazing content, but you're going to meet, 20, 30, 40, 50 other people from different organizations that are learning the same thing. You're going to make some besties, in that. So that's going to splinter up. So like we've only interacted 2 or 3 times together already, but you can just see that it's going to branch out from there.
By the way, and also you're going to come to a Royals Braves game the first week of next season because I'm going to be there. And I said, hey, if you're around, I want to get you in to a game. I'm just bringing that up and then jump back to what you were doing, because you and I have emailed a few times and we have talked twice, once on my podcast right now and once on your podcast. And we're already filling up the calendar with stuff that wasn't really on the agenda. Go on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so why is that happening? Well, yeah, we liked each other, but we both offered what we would call at Bunnell Idea Group, what we would call a give to get. Now, quick little definitional thing here. The book is called Give to Grow. We think of that as a mindset. We're going to give to others in very specific ways that's going to grow our influence. We're going to grow our book of business. We're going to grow our skills. We're going to grow our impact on the world, all that. A give to get is what is something that's very specific that somebody can say yes or no to very quickly. And if we design it right, it's like a heck yes kind of offer. Like, why? God, you'd be crazy. When I offer a give to get to somebody, I want somebody to go, well, why would I say? It'd be crazy to say no to that, right? So we both have a built-in give to get where we could have each other on each other's podcast. Well, doing this right now, you and I are bonding. The audience feels that. Yeah, it's our third interaction, but like you can just like see we're running downhill. It's going fast. What the audience can do is think through what's their give to get. So when they're having that Zoom call introduction to somebody, they're having that lunch meeting, what we want to do is design a bite-sized little offering where we're going to transition from talking about what we do to doing what we do. And usually you don't have to do it this way, but one of the great ways to bring up a give to get would be to something like paraphrase back their priorities that they mentioned. Let's say I'm you, Joel. You could be in a lunch with somebody, a CEO for a huge organization, and they've shared, hey, here are my big priorities next year. Well, what most people might do is pitch a speech. Well, the problem with that is they like you, you're 20 minutes into the lunch, there's still a big risk to hire somebody to speak at the big event. Your name's on the line. So what you might be able to do, again, I'm sharing this for the audience purposes, is Joel might be able to say, well, hey, would it be helpful if I just spent 30 minutes on your next senior leadership team meeting, and why don't I walk through my construct for resiliency, and we can just see how that might be able to help the senior leadership team. And we can talk that through. I'll facilitate the discussion. No charge for me. I want to be helpful to you, and it'll help me because, now I get to meet your whole team. Well, everybody think about, it'd be crazy not to take up somebody like Joel with his expertise to do that. Then he slots into this 30-minute Zoom call 2 weeks from now. He's able to switch from talking about what he does to actually doing what he does. So he's talking about his construct around resiliency. Everybody's engaging. He hangs up on the call. What do they say? They feel like they want to pay Joe back. They feel reciprocity. They learn something. They got to see him in action. Now hiring Joel to speak at the big sales kickoff it's like a no-brainer. It's like, gosh, we learned so much in 30 minutes. What could Joel teach us in 90 minutes with a plenary talk with some breakouts? So what you're doing with a give to get is you're making it super easy to get to the next step. Like you want a 90% chance, not a 10%. If he would have pitched the speech in my little example, 10% chance maybe to get hired, but he can get a 90% chance to get in front of the senior leadership team. And from there, it's like a 95% chance to get hired for the speech, and it's more fun. So anyway, Joel, is that helpful to like,
oh my gosh,
through like, yeah, this is how we could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're all trying to get to the end and we're trying to get there too quickly. And what's the worst case scenario? They take advantage of you for 30 minutes, but they're not going to, because someone is going to walk out of there and say, wow, that was really good. Let me tell a friend. Let me tell a boss. Let me tell someone. There's always a win, right? And you can tell pretty quickly too that if it's not aligning, this is not a blind, like just say yes to everybody. There still has to be alignment with it. I'll get back to this in a minute. I want to go back because I always like backgrounds. How's an Indiana kid end up where you have ended up with a massive organization now, helping other organizations? It didn't start that way. I know how passionate you are. I know your energy. I know how much you love this. So what was a young Mo Bunnell wanting to do growing up in Indiana, and then take us from that to actuary to this? I know it's not that simple.
Yeah. Well, the professional journey started in a moment of fear, but to back up a little bit before that, grew up in a town of 80 people, rural Indiana, called Preble. It probably had 81, and then I didn't go back, so they had to change the sign. But as a baseball fan, man, I used to listen to Camo X.
Yeah.
Listen to the Cardinals. My dad grew up in Southern Illinois, so he's a big Cardinals fan. So what is that, 1120, I think, was Camo X? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Now, but would listen to the games and just love baseball, by the way. Anyway, we had a tough childhood where it was hard to make ends meet. So I had read, somebody came to our school, and when I was in my little county seat, Farmtown High School I was in, and we got a career day, our first ever. Our student council put it on, and an actuary came to talk, and she was wicked smart, and they were financially stable, and it was like voted the best job in America in 1984 or whatever that was. So, or gosh, yeah, around that time. So I went to school as an actuary, and then from that point, it takes like 8 or 10 years at that point in the 80s and 90s to get through the exams. So all you can do is study and try not to get divorced. And passed 24 exams, each with a pass rate of like a third. Got through that. That's when the moment of fear came in. I'd worked it out with my consulting firm to take on a big, huge, basically a production role. It's called managing consultant. Most people in that role were in their 50s and 60s. I'm 29 or whatever. And because I was a, air quotes, actuary with a personality, they thought I could do it. And on my first day in this new role, I went from like an inch wide and a mile deep, as a technical actuary, green visor, a back room, running lots of calculations, long-term financial projections. And I went to a mile wide and an inch deep, where I was supposed to grow our business with Fortune 50 C-level executives at this big consulting firm. And I was in way over my head. And I thought there would be like a manual to do it. And when I asked, how do you grow a business with a relationship-centric approach, in other words, and I asked my boss for that manual, and Joel, I wasn't ready for him to chuckle at me, but it was a kind chuckle, but he just sort of laughed. And he said, there's no manual, treat the client right, you're going to do fine. And as sort of the accidental entrepreneur, to speed up the rest of the story, I just started taking notes to myself, digging into research, and finally found a method that worked over a couple of years. And within a few years, I was managing some of our biggest clients globally. I think I had maybe the second biggest sort of client portfolio in the firm, and really fell in love at that point to teaching others how to have this positive, relationship-centric sort of impact on the world. So started Bunnell Idea Group. It'll be 20 years ago in December. And like you said, we trained over 50,000. I think we're like just a touch under 60,000 professionals all over the globe. And it has been really, really, really fun teaching people that.
Yeah, I know it's your passion, and I can't wait to be with one of those groups. I really I'm like, why can't it be tomorrow? But okay, just wait. It'll be here. It'll be here soon. I mean, this has really become your life's work, and so it's so much fun. But I also want to remind people, and if you're asking me, what's a good book to read? We're doing a book segment next month on the podcast, just in time with the holidays. And I could do 100 guests. I'm highlighting 4, and then maybe I'll do 4 more next year. I mean, as you know, with the amount of pitches that we get, none of which, by the way, follow the Give to Grow formula. We get pitched every single day for podcast guests. And they even strategically, quote unquote, strategically listened to a random podcast and said, I am a huge fan of your work, Mo Bunnell. Like, well, people don't usually refer to me by first and last name. Anyway, you know, like, that's all the stuff that goes delete right away. I just take one. If like a word pops out to me that catches my attention, maybe I'll take a greater look at it. But if I'm going to recommend a book to read, among the many, I'm going to recommend people read Give to Grow. The beauty of it is that if you just buy the book, I sound like I'm selling and you're not asking me to do this. If you just buy the book, you're going to be better for it. And if you're already good at this, you're going to still be better for it. But my greater point is this: you have so many resources, and it's a give to grow mindset and mentality that there's not a catch. There's certainly an opportunity to do more. There's always opportunity for you to grow your business in it, but it's not contingent on me doing anything. I can make that decision on my own. So tell me about these resources, because there's a lot, Mo. I mean, just going to your YouTube page, just going, signing up for your email letters, everything that you do, and Bob Berg's the same way with this too. Everything that you're putting out gives people an opportunity to learn, and it doesn't cost them anything. If they want to do more with it, great. And it doesn't stop. It's not just a, here you go, here's your freebie. Okay, if you want to do more, pay me. It keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. How did you build and develop all of this? Because this is not an overnight thing.
Yeah. Joel, it's a great question. And let me actually start the answer with a little bit of research. And this came out of Penn. And they found that the most successful givers in the world were people that gave with no strings attached, which is interesting, but also had a little bit of self-interest in mind, meaning they would scale up or down their give relative to what they think might happen. So no strings attached, but it's not random either, that we want to give, you're going to give more to a CEO of a Fortune 50 company than a friend down the street that's a friend of the family or whatever. You can still help both a lot, but you might have one give is 20 minutes and a walk around the block, and the other one's 20 hours, because there's so much you could do. That one organization could keep you busy for a decade. So giving is most effective when we don't expect anything in return, but we do size the give to the relative expected value. And I think those two things are really important. So back to your point, gosh, how do we think about it? Man, I want somebody, if they buy Give to Grow, first of all, we've written a book called Give to Grow, so I want a lot of gives in it. So one of the things we build out is a whole website, a free video course, like literally dozens of downloadable assets and tools to help implement the system. And we didn't even make it contingent on buying the book. So people can get it for free, and it stands on its own. So people can get that at givetogrow.info. Give to Grow, you can spell the 2 with TO or the number 2. It still goes to the same place, givetogrow.info. And people can download the free course, tons of assets, citations for all the research in the book, ton of stuff that's better if you have the book. But if somebody's in college and they don't have $20 for the book, they can actually get all that for free. So then to go broader, we do that in everything. So whether it's 600 episodes on our podcast, it's called Real Relationships, Real Revenue, YouTube channel, infographics on LinkedIn every single day, like high quality infographics to help people move their business along and say it this way, not that way, really, really practical stuff. The books, I want people to almost drop into our ecosystem and then just see all this value. If we change their life for really no cost or little cost, then what that'll happen is, it's giving without any expectation of return. Somebody does all the free stuff for life, awesome, but the expected value is high for us. Somebody's going to see all those things and then reach out and go, I've learned more for you and haven't paid for anything. We need to have you come in and train our people. It's almost like all this reciprocity builds up the more that we give to people. Joel, is that where you wanted to go?
100%. And I'll just take me right now. I'm in the early stages. I did spend whatever it cost me to buy the book. That was it. To this point, that's what I spent. But I've also made it a point, anytime it makes sense in a conversation that I have with someone, to bring it up, because I had such a good experience with it and I'm just starting, that I want other people to know about it. And so we all become advocates. And that today doesn't mean I've told somebody hire Mo for a speech, but you know what? The first chance that someone mentions that they have the need for someone like you, I'm going to say, hey, I know someone, right?
Yep.
You haven't asked me to do that, by the way, either. So that's the beauty of all of this. Let me go to my baseball themed questions. And
I love it.
You did mention the Cardinals, but we're not talking about that. And yes, I actually had to Google
you can talk about the Cardinals a lot because they're so bad right now. So
I mean, by their standards, yes. I had to actually Google to make sure Camo X was still 1120. It's not that I don't know. I've been gone from St. Louis 18 years. You just don't ever hear anybody say the numbers, right? It's just Camo X. And so that you grew up listening to them like a lot of people. But I digress. Biggest home run that you've hit in your career, what is it?
Oh, man. Well, easily marrying my wife.
But that's not your career. That's personal. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You know,
And not to congratulations on a long, healthy marriage, of course. I always tell all my guests that is the ultimate home run. What about on the professional side?
On the professional side, it's working globally with one of the top, I would say one of the top professional service firms in the world. I mean, there's only a couple at the very top. And I actually believe we've been working with them about 10 years. There is no doubt in my mind we've changed the culture to be more relationship centric. And that's pretty cool for, firms with tens of, I have to be a bit vague here, but with tens of thousands of people and some of the smartest people in the world to be able to work at the most elite levels of consulting. And then I can say the same thing for some of the largest law firms in the world we work with, some of the largest investment banks. There are many, many organizations where we've actually changed the culture of the entire organization to have a meaningful impact on them, which means also their economics, and more importantly, it means all of their clients.
Yes.
Because if we can help the most elite professionals of the world win more of the work that they want at the clients they want, that has then like 100x throughput on the impact that they have because they're having a big impact. And I feel like if we can make a big impact on our clientele, as everybody in the audience can think about, it doesn't just end there. It ends in the second order impact, which is many times 10 or 100x that. And every once in a while, I'll be talking with somebody and I'll realize the breadth of that. And that's pretty meaningful to me.
Yeah. That is a gift that keeps on giving and truly the ultimate win. How about a swing and a miss along the way? And what did you learn from it?
There's a lot of those. We had, speaking of Give to Grow, right around the book launch, we had an inbound lead come in from a very prestigious firm that I would just love to work with. And Joel, I didn't give it the attention it needed. I actually guided our team not to do all the things that we espouse. And it was being too busy. It was not paying attention. It was getting overwhelmed with other things that weren't theirs. And they were basically trying to hire us. And I made it hard to hire us, which is completely different than anything we teach. And, I can't ever remember any other situation in 20 years that we did that. And because of a perfect storm of things, we didn't win. And all I could do at that point was we have a framework called turn your loss into your future win. So I, hat in hand, went to the global C-level person that wasn't even running it, but was supervising what was going on. And I wrote a note to her and said, this is my fault. And told her exactly what happened and that I would like to somehow invest in their success if it ever happens. And I didn't see this, but I had another person that well, actually, she did tell me this later when we got on the phone and met for the first time. She said she actually forwarded that note out to her team and said, this is how you develop relationships. So at some point, we'll get hired there. And I don't care what the economics are. That'll be one of the most meaningful hires that we'll ever have because I'm gonna like through pure relationship investment win them back over because I messed up on that one. Anyway, that was a big swing and a miss right down the center. And I swung very horribly, Joel.
That is going to be the hitter that missed on a pitch he should have hit and will come back and hit that home run later on, learning from the mistake. Last baseball theme question, small ball. What are the little things that add up to big results for you?
It's a cliche, but doing those little extras, I feel like, well, I'll give some science around this and people can use this. Like one of the small ball things that's so easy to incorporate is there's some research out of Cornell that found a face-to-face ask is 34 times more likely to get a yes than an email ask. So just thinking ahead to your next week and thinking, hey, they might be things I've already been hired to do. They might be business development meetings, whatever, but who do I have access with and what requests or recommendations can I give while I'm see them on Zoom or while I'm walking the halls or whatever. And they can just be little things today that help your future self. So like, hey, Jane, I know we're going to go on this big speech in a minute, or I know we're busy with the work we're doing. I would love to chat with you on Zoom a couple months from now and just hear, once things settle down, and just hear your priorities and find some ways to be helpful for you. Well, everybody, you're going to get a yes on that almost nearly every time, 99 out of 100, probably 100 out of 100. And those little 30-second asks, small ball, can, while you already have access, just get that next meeting set up. You get the head nod, you set it up like that. So whether you're delivering in work or doing business development, always be thinking of what's the next thing that I can be helpful. Ask for that while you're in person. And if you do that over and over again, it doesn't take any more time, and you'll just get incredible momentum with your business.
So good. I think the biggest key word that I hear from you over and over and over again is help, however you want to use it. How can I help? Would it help if I?
Yep.
Some form of that, I think, is a great starting point for everyone. All right, I've got rapid fire, 4 final questions. Doesn't have to be that rapid, but 4 final questions as we round the bases. The first is this. Can you name anyone studying actuarial science? Is that the way to say it? Actuaries.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I've never used the word actuarial on a baseball broadcast before. How many people that studied actuarial science went on to be the homecoming king at Ball State?
I think one, and that's probably me. I don't think it'll ever happen again. It might, but I don't think so.
Pretty cool stuff. I just thought that'd be a fun, quick first one. All right, second one is interesting. I just love all these interesting facts about people. You are, I think it's safe to say, an animal lover. Most of us are. My animal lover means that I have 2 dogs at home. How about you?
Yeah. 1 dog, 2 cats, a green-cheeked conure, which is a bird, 4 horses, 2 miniature donkeys.
How did that start, and what does that take? I mean, that's a whole different kind of give to grow relationship. I don't know.
Well, Becky, my wife, takes care of most of the animals. I do handle the bird. The bird is sort of gravitated towards me. Everybody else loves other family members. But my wife does a nonprofit where she helps kids with disabilities and breast cancer survivors. And she does it through equine therapy. She's certified in that. And Joel, when you come to town for the Royals Braves game next year, you should come by the house. Okay. And just I'd love to have you, and you'd watch her work her magic with kids with various disabilities, physical, mental, and it's unbelievable. She does a fall festival once a year, and we just had it Saturday, so 2 days ago, and that's where all of our clients, about 50 different volunteers that volunteer for them, everybody comes into one place, and she has this wholesome fall festival where they dress the horses up as characters and everybody's in costume. We did a Charlie Brown theme. So the horses, the donkeys were the great pumpkin. As you can imagine, the belly, perfect for pumpkin. I was Charlie Brown. She was Lucy. And we were walking all their junior volunteers, girls in middle school and high school, or the junior volunteers. So we're walking everybody around in this big horse donkey parade. It's magic. Anyway, that's where, the bulk of the animals are horses and the 2 donkeys. So that's where they came from.
And now we give Becky her proper praise that I deprived you of before. She's doing all the really, really important work. The last Friday of March, if you're around, I will come over, because they always have that built-in off day after opening day.
Oh, right.
Rains,
yeah.
At least for stadiums that are outdoors. So I will be off in Atlanta on Friday, March 27th. So mark that down. And if you guys are around, I will come over and see it all. Okay, third question. Well, let's keep it in the family. I mean, how cool. This is great for promotion too. Not that you asked me to do it. That, if I'm understanding it correctly, your daughters also took the course, that they were able to take the Give to Grow course, which is hard to do sometimes, to get your kids to, your own kids to do something like that. What did that mean to you?
Oh my gosh. Well, we did a 200 person. So we had a room that just handled 200 people. So it capped out of all of our best clients, and people flew in from all over the world. And we did a sort of a Give to Grow live, is what we called it. And my 2 daughters went to it, and man, that was cool to have them there. And then at night we had sort of a book launch. I'm sure you've done that with your books. Super cool. And I finished, and I gave a little talk about the book after a full day of teaching the book to people. And I heard somebody go, wait, so stop. That's not it. We're not done. I was like, what's happening? I thought I developed the agenda with the team. I should know what's going on. And they said, no, your daughters want to say something. I was like, whoa, they both hate public speaking. They're in their 20s, do not like it at all. And I sat down. The 2 Gabby and Josie got on stage, Joel, and they gave a talk about me being a dad for them.
Wow.
And I'm bawling my eyes out. Josie took one of the things I've done every year is do an annual movie of our family like events over the entire year. We don't do it now because the girls are older and they live in different cities and all that. But for 20 years, I did that. Josie culled through all of that and developed a 2-minute video of the funniest things that happened in their entire childhood with me involved. And I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like, where did this come from? It was awesome. It was like
cool.
I feel like I went to my own funeral. It was so great. So that was really, really cool. That was maybe the biggest Give to Grow thing that happened out of writing the book was that little 10-minute experience.
That's beautiful. And it's always good to be at your own funeral when you actually haven't died, because it means that you really get a chance to hear what people think about you in the best of ways. That's so cool to be able to have that and that memory with your daughters forever. I should have ended with that because it's a good feel good, but I'm going to end with a funny story about resilience because it was on my list of things about you and I can't let it go. I think back to my senior year of college, great time to be resourceful. And my 3 roommates and I, we were out of beer, but the old Milwaukee cases, this is up at Wisconsin, if you brought back 1 case with all the bottles, they gave you $1 refund. I think it was Milwaukee's Best. I don't know. Old Milwaukee, whatever. So if we brought back 8 cases and it cost $8 to buy a case of that crappy beer, we'd get a free case of beer, and we were out and had no cash. So there's the 4 of us walking down the street, each with 2 cases stacked on each other, and we got free beer. You've got a Domino's pizza story that beats that one. So let's end with that and the resourcefulness of a young Mo Bunnell.
Well, my friend Doug and I were freshmen in college, and we didn't have any money. And Domino's had this kind of deal. There was like the tab that goes down in the front of the cardboard box and sort of locks it in place. If you knew, it was like somewhat secret, but if you would tear off that tab, there was like a red dot on it. Like this is like 1982 or something. And if you had like 10 of those red dots, you got a free pizza. So it all worked well until we were jumping into the dumpster, trying outside the dorm to try to find all the red dots. And man, a police car came screaming around the corner, and they have that light on the side. And I don't know why they cared about people jumping in dumpsters. I don't know that we're not. I don't know if something's in the trash. Are you stealing? I don't think so. Anyway, they did not like that. Apparently, you're not supposed to dive in dumpsters on campus at Ball State University. But anyway, we already had like 10 or 12 of those tabs in our pocket. So they got us out of the dumpster, but we had our pizza, or the coupons to do it. So
and no arrest.
No arrest. Yeah, nothing on the record. We're okay. No.
The Give to Grow mindset back then would have been to offer some of those coupons to the police officer, because like any other profession, they love to eat like the rest of us. But we were talking about starving college kids at that point. It was a matter of survival. That's at least the story that I'm hearing. I don't know how much that really has to do with Give to Grow. I do know this much. You found a way to get it done. And more importantly, now you're helping others get it done. The name of the book, at least that I have been talking about and pushing, is Give to Grow. Mo is also the author of The Snowball Effect. And for anything, sign up for the newsletter and all the releases if you're interested in this, because at minimum, you're going to get some great tools that help you, and it doesn't cost you anything. BunnellIdeaGroup.com. It'll be in the show notes. If you don't know how to spell it or whatever it is, it'll be there. Mo, so excited to see where this is going selfishly for me, and hopefully I can provide some of that value back to you as well. So glad that we were able to do what I call in the sports / podcasting world, combining them together, a good home and home with the podcast, you hosting and then me hosting. Thanks so much for coming on Rounding the Bases today.
Joe, I love it. We definitely did the home and home, and what's neat is we both won, so it was great. Right. And that's what relationships can do. Everybody can win at every turn. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming on. And by the way, we hear it all the time. Fans want their team to win a trade. It's only a good trade if they win. Most GMs will tell you it's a good trade if both teams win, because it means they'll come back again the next time and the next time. It doesn't sound as exciting, but it's really the secret to everything. Go check out the book, Give to Grow. Mo, thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Joel.
It's around the bases. Everybody knows Joe Goldberg.